All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 3. Of the Docs and Crocs podcast.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again for the third week in a row.
I know. If you're here, if you've been here since week 1, you are...
Wow.
You're the realest of the real.
The realist.
You're probably in love with one of us.
First things first, I'm the realist.
And Jonathan is single, so...
Wait. What? So anyways...
So...
moving right along.
There's got to be some, like... I guarantee you there's, like, a big fan out there.
Yeah, a big fan?
We have a listener in New Zealand now. We have at least 1 or 2 listeners in New Zealand.
I see.
And I'm convinced that one of them is probably a secret admirer of yours.
Uh-huh. Where do we get this from?
I just decided now.
I have no say in the matter.
Give me your worst pickup line.
Ooh.
Just in case the New Zealand podcast girl.
Baby.
Are they playing ads in the back of our... Look at this. That's a Sensodyne commercial.
Oh my
I can't even skip it.
What is
the
happening?
secret is out. I don't have YouTube Red or whatever.
The premium version.
I do have Spotify though. I got the premium Spotify.
Oh my! We have to watch another ad.
Jim, we don't have to watch it. We can
don't.
pretend like it's not playing. So yeah, what's your worst? Give me your worst pickup line.
I have a few that are like not family friendly, and then
give me a slightly careful one.
A slightly careful one. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect 5-year-olds to be listening to this.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, girl, are you a Nissan? Because I want you all to myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
broke bones. That
was pretty good. I don't know what you're saying.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. I don't know that I have you.
Girl,
I asked that question, but I don't know if I have any.
Girl, do you know the difference between you and history? History's in the past, but I see you in my future.
Ooh. Come on, New Zealand girls.
Ow, ow.
Come on, New Zealand girls.
Ow, ow.
I just realized I'm going to step over here and turn this thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there we are.
Now we can see what's happening.
Woot.
Look at that.
Shout out to the New Zealand girls.
Shout out to the New Zealand gals who are really into Croc.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we've said our actual names on here. I'm Ryan.
I'm Jonathan.
Thanks for being here. So
your elbow's not in frame there, Ryan.
Oh, does it need to be? Should I have my bows in?
Bosom?
Should I have
my bows?
Should I have my bows in the frame? So we're called, I don't know if we've talked about this either, we're called the Docs and Crocs podcast. It's a very deep and intimate story.
Very deep, very intimate. I don't think we can share the whole story.
Probably not the whole story, but the gist of it is...
I wear Crocs.
And I wear Docs. So thanks for taking that look in with us.
Yeah.
Into our
just
lives.
Very introspective, motivational.
So what do we got here today? We got some...
rum?
We're sipping on some rum today. We're sipping on some Caribbean rum. Ooh, let's see if we can get that clink in there. Ooh, that's going to sound so good.
Little ASMR.
This is Bumbu rum. This is real Caribbean rum. It is the candy of rums.
The candiest of rums. Mmm. Yeah.
Mm. So we're loosening up. So hey, good Monday morning. Thanks for being here. I have something important to tell you.
Please tell me. Have we decided our roles on this podcast?
Our roles?
Yeah.
I didn't know there were... What are the roles to assign?
I'm the hot, stupid one. And you're
right. I'm the ugly one who drives conversation.
Yes. And I'm hot and dumb.
Some of the comments were brutal. I think you were just tired. You were just sleepy. That's all it was.
Yeah. You caught me early morning. I'm not a morning person at all.
Yeah.
I hate mornings.
I mean, today you came over at what time?
1 p.m.
And you had woken up
at 12:30.
So, yeah, I dragged you out of bed a little too early. I don't know what made me decide to record morning podcasts, but
I really love sleeping. Like, sleeping is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And so if there's an opportunity for me to sleep more, given what time it is, I will take it every time. If there is a decision between me sleeping more or looking presentable and like eating breakfast and getting all my morning routine things done, I'll take sleep just about every time.
Yeah.
Except it's for the gym. If it's for the gym wins in that scenario.
If it's for the gains.
Always for the gains.
The gym wins every time.
Boo-doo-doo.
Anyway, I have something really important to share with you and to share with all the people, but I need to share it with you first.
Okay.
Well, I'm sharing it with everyone at once. I've only shared this in private settings. I've never shared this publicly. I know who the Zodiac Killer is.
Who's the Zodiac Killer?
Do you know about the Zodiac Killer?
I know about this somewhat.
Like you've heard back in the day, it was like in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was like this guy that was like killing people and then like leaving clues for like the news.
And they could never catch him.
And they never found out who he was.
Yeah. So who's the Zodiac Killer?
So I can't say his name. Let me explain.
What's going on here?
Let me explain.
What is happening?
So about 10 years ago now. Yeah, about 10 years ago.
Okay.
10 or 11 years ago, I was dating this girl. I started dating this girl. And we hadn't been dating for that long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at her house, and she was like, hey, my dad and I wanted to share something with you.
Excuse me?
No, hold on.
Excuse me?
And they were like, you know the Zodiac Killer? And I was like, I've heard about the Zodiac Killer. And like, yeah, they never figured out who it is. And they were like, well, the Zodiac Killer was a family member of ours. He's dead now.
Just let me process that for a second.
So
let me just...
I was like, what? What do you mean? They brought out all the evidence.
No!
They brought out like manila envelopes with photos, and like they compared the actual photo like that they had drawn, like victims had drawn of the Zodiac Killer, to this guy's photo. And then they were like, and also like when they translated the zodiac symbols initially, they were initials. And those initials are and this person's name was And I was like, well, I mean, is there any chance that there's a coincidence there? And they were like, well, when he died. So here's one of the big things. The Zodiac Killer used to wear like this, like, costume that was made for him.
Right.
Well, this guy's mother was a seamstress. The guy, the family member. And he like lived alone. He was very weird. I think he like lived in his mom's basement actually, and he was very weird. And when he died, this was the part that got me.
Yeah.
So the Zodiac Killer used in some of his killings, he used like a .22 pistol.
Right.
That he had like apparently mounted a flashlight to.
Okay.
And when he died, they searched through his stuff and found a .22 pistol with holes drilled in the top of it to mount a flashlight on it. So they like had all this evidence, and I was like, how come you guys haven't told anyone? And they were like, we don't want our family to have that negative press.
So my question is, how many red flags did this girl have?
That was probably the first one.
That was the first one?
It was early. We had just started dating.
So you're telling me that the girl you were dating, his dad's brother was the Zodiac Killer?
It was like his uncle or something. Oh, it was like a great uncle.
Oh my god.
Or something. There was it was either an uncle. I'm probably butchering that part, but it was either like an uncle or like a and then they brought out a map of where all the killings were. And he lived right in the center, right next to the lake where the first killings happened. So they were like, we're like pretty positive it was him, but he's dead now, and we just don't really want like the negative attention on our family.
Was this when you lived in New Mexico?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, New Mexico just has something going on.
These people were from California. And this was all in Cali, you know?
Okay.
So anyway. So I live with this secret that I have kept for them.
Wow.
For a while. Yeah.
So like, I'm assuming you broke up with her shortly after?
No, we dated for like 5 years. We were on for a while. Yeah.
So what does that say about you, Ryan?
There were other red flags.
Oh, I would assume
Like
so.
she was a vegetarian.
Oh, a huge red flag.
Yeah.
That's a deal breaker immediately.
Yeah, that was almost it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zodiac Killer thing didn't do it, but when I found out she didn't eat meat, I was like, whoa.
There's priorities, right?
Whoa.
There's absolute priorities.
Yeah.
And if she does not eat meat, that is more of a priority red flag than...
She ate meat by the time we were done dating. Yeah, we were shopping one time, and we were like, we got this little mini fridge like at her house that was like our snack fridge. We'd been dating, at that point for like a couple months. You'd be like, how did you not know by then? Well, we were young. Anyway, and like we'd hang out and go get coffee and like just
Talk
teenagers.
about how to murder people.
So we were out one day and we were stocking up this little mini fridge like we had just gotten, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get like a bunch of like meats and cheeses, and she goes, ew.
No.
And I was like,
No.
wait.
No.
She goes, I'm a vegetarian.
Why?
And I like stood there in disbelief. I had never really been
I would
around.
stop talking to her at that instant.
I had never been around.
I would leave her
vegetarians
at the
very much.
grocery store
Dang.
and stop talking to her.
I didn't have a car at
immediately.
that time. She did.
Mm.
We were young. Like I mean, it was 11 years ago. So anyway, so there's that.
Starting out with a big old bombshell.
Yeah, I just figured maybe our friendship should reach the next level. So there's one of my like weird secrets that I live with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like that.
Well, there wasn't any expectation on this. I don't want you to feel pressured.
Okay. Good. Because I don't
But if you
any-
have anything you want to get off your chest, now in front of witnesses would be the time, I guess.
Yeah. So there's this girl at the gym.
Yeah. And she's a mass murderer or what?
I mean, she might be because she mass murdered my heart.
Oh my God. I'm almost choked on my rum. Okay.
She just...
That's your next pickup line. Hey, girl.
Are
you the Zodiac Killer?
Are you the Zodiac Killer? Because you're
Yeah.
mass murdering my heart. I think that'll work. Next time I see her, I'm going to go up to her and use that pickup line.
Yeah, try it out.
Yeah, no. I'm not doing that.
So what about this girl?
I have a gym crush. That's about it.
Oh, okay.
That was as far as it went.
How do you take gym crushes to the next level?
I have no idea.
If you know how to take gym crushes to the next level, please jump in the Facebook group, Docs and Crocs podcast,
Put it
and
in
leave
the
a comment.
comments so I know what I'm doing.
He needs help, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so the way I describe this is growing up, I invested all of my skill points into book smart and 0 skill points into street smart and social skills.
Right.
So when I got to middle school, I met one of my really good friends, Matt, and he handled the book smart, not the book smart aspect, the street smart aspect. So I sat in the back of the classroom, and I was pretty blind. I didn't know I needed glasses at the time, but I couldn't read the board. And so I would always tell Matt, what does that say on the board? He's like, Johnny, if you can't read the board, I'm not going to tell you what's on the board. Go sit in the front.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't want to sit in the front. He was like, okay, well, you give me the answer to the question and I'll tell you what it is. I was like, deal. And so that's how our friendship started. And so going through middle school and high school, Matt was always the street smart. Like when any situation this face, you're like,
I said, no, I'm listening.
any situation would come up, like I would always be like, Matt, what do I do with this? And he's like, oh, you just do this, and this. And what he told me, like, didn't make sense in my brain.
Are we still talking about girls?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
So any interaction I had with a girl, Matt was always behind like the text messages, the interactions.
That's like when you lie on the resume and you get the job.
Yeah. And so that was my kind of school experience. So now that I'm kind of grown up in quotation marks, I have to figure that stuff out on my own.
That's huge.
And that's terrifying.
Am I your street smart friend now?
Yeah. Yeah, street smarts. Yeah, you have quite a few street smarts.
My street smarts are I know how to fix things.
Yes.
And
Yes. Just
Yep.
a few things.
I know how
We
to,
won't name
yep.
those things just in case someone else listens to this and is like, "Oh, you know how to fix this."
Oh yeah, don't
Yeah.
call me to fix things. I
No.
don't know anything. I'm very expensive. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, well. like a cake, you know, or
Yeah,
a pizza
yeah,
or a
yeah.
beer, a
Just-
couple beers.
Just high quality.
High quality. Yeah, I'm a big What's that? Oh, I see.
I can't wink very
I
well.
thought maybe you were having I thought you were having an attack.
No,
I
no,
thought
no.
you were like spazzing out. I didn't realize that you were winking to the camera.
Yeah, I just don't wink very well.
I'm a high class B.
I can't wink with my right eye. I can only wink with my left eye. So if I try, it's like,
For those who are just listening and aren't watching, it looks like he's having a stroke.
it doesn't work.
That's
I can't do it.
crazy. That is crazy.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I can, and I on the other hand can isolate. I can just isolate eyes. Like I can just close one eye
Okay.
entirely without any other distortion on my face whatsoever.
I can't do that.
This was a skill that I learned in Russian spy school. Just kidding. My mom used to do it.
So you're an enemy of the state.
You know, I don't know that I should say anything like that on media of any kind. I might be a covert operations.
The NSA
Guy.
has immediately tapped your cell phone.
I mean, if
It's now
it
the
can they
same.
tap this podcast and make it blow up? Because that would be awesome.
That would be sick.
That would be absolutely fantastic.
We had a pretty eventful week last week.
Yeah, talk to me about your perspective on last week.
Yeah. So last week started out like any other week. But then on Friday, I went skydiving. And that was incredible. I haven't seen... We paid extra so that I could get the video footage like afterwards.
Oh, shoot. All right.
And I haven't gotten the video footage yet. But as soon as I get it, I'm going to watch it just so I can get like a refresher. Because it all happened so quickly.
Yeah.
One day, a friend is like, "Hey, you want to go skydiving?" And I was like, "That's on my bucket list. So absolutely, I want to go skydiving." So we schedule it for Friday. We drive out to Berlin. And then I get myself strapped to another human being who has a lot more experience just so I don't die falling out of a plane. He gives me directions on what to do. And then...
No, I just liked the sound of I got strapped to another human being who's a little more experienced. That's great.
Then we get up in a plane. The plane climbs to 8,000 feet. And then we scoot to the edge of the plane. The doors open. You look down. You're like, whoa, we are really high up. And then you hear in your ear, ready, get set, go. And then all of a sudden, you're falling out of a plane that's 8,000 feet in the air.
That's the part that really freaks me out is that you're about to fall 8,000 feet, but you're not in control of it.
It was so sick.
It's like you're being pushed. You're
Yeah.
being pushed over
Yeah.
8,000 feet, but then the other person fell too.
It was great. And so free fall lasted all of, I think, a minute or two, but it felt like 10 minutes. It was the strangest experience of my life because you're supposed to go in a banana formation where you have your hands up and you arch your back. That way your free fall is as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. And like in the air, in free fall, you're supposed to go like that. But until you get a really good banana formation, you're kind of like going back and forth like this.
Yeah.
And so to start out with, you feel like boop, 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 boop. And we finally stabilized out. Then he pulls the parachute. And the view was just absolutely breathtaking. You could see all the way up I-25, back to Albuquerque. You could see like the tops of mountains with a little bit of snow on top.
But the real question is,
Yep.
did you see the curve of the Earth? Is the Earth flat, Jonathan? Is the Earth flat? Damn it, son. Tell me right now.
When I was falling, the first thing that popped in my brain was not, Let's check if the Earth is flat.
Come on. What else is the point?
Why
we
else would you
gotta
go-
stump these flat earthers, man. We gotta put them in their place. You gotta be the guy at the table who's like, hey, I jumped out of an aeroplane, and let me tell you what, son. There's a curve.
There's a curve. The curve is greater than when you text females.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have any epiphanies while you were falling thousands of feet to the earth? Did you have any like revelations?
I mean, it just kind of like gave me a bird's eye perspective.
Oh, did it now?
Yeah. And the guy I was jumping with, he was like, you can understand why birds sing in the morning, right? Because they're...
Oh, wow. What a thing to say. Was
Yeah.
he the mustache guy? In the photo you posted?
No.
Okay, because he looked like the kind of guy that would say some stuff like that.
Dude, okay. So while we're getting up to altitude, my friend and the person that she's jumping with is telling all these really bad jokes, like the jokes you probably don't want to hear before you're skydiving.
Oh, oof.
He's like, what's the hardest part about skydiving? We're like, what? He's like, the ground.
Love that.
Yeah. But anyways, like, so many things looked so tiny when you have a really big perspective.
Yeah.
But
That'll preach.
yeah. And it's not like it changed size magically. It was just my relation to it.
Oh, here we go, ladies.
As I got further away from things that seemed very large, they looked small in comparison. Minuscule.
Have you been able to apply that anywhere? Like, was there any point where you're in the sky and you're like, dang, I make things out to be too big?
I think like your focus and your like what you focus on and the perspective that you take on will always determine what's big in your life and what's small. And so if you're focusing on, for example, trying to figure out your life and whatever you're really close to in your life is going to seem very large. So if your lifestyle, if you're very close to like partying and that kind of relationship and that lifestyle, that seems very large and that seems like a big part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so until you separate yourself from that, until you start to walk away and walk towards something and focus on something else, that lifestyle and that mindset and those thoughts start to even out and get put into perspective. Or maybe something you struggle with is relationships and forming good connection.
Yeah.
If your only focus is I don't have any real friends, this big mountain of loneliness is going to be what you're close to and what you focus on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, if you start to move towards healthy relationships and investing in the relationships that you already have, that loneliness can now become put into perspective and become small in comparison to healthy relationships.
Oh, 100%. I think even like this past, I've been on this journey
Right.
of mental health and like emotional health. And for me, like one of the biggest things that I was like one of my big focuses, like from the time I like growing up to the time I was, 24, 25 years old was just that like I'm a victim to the whole world. Like my life is happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's happening to me. People like in my perspective, people automatically weren't going to like me. They were going to have a problem with me. There was nothing I could do about it.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of, there were a few steps to overcoming that. But one of the things that I did just in the past year to really retrain my brain was like make certain things bigger than other things.
Yep.
So like I was literally training myself on where to get joy from and like where to get like satisfaction from. And so I would just look at my daughter and like look at my daughter smile and I would tell myself like this is full joy, or just like taking care of my daughter, taking care of my wife, working hard at my job. Like, and I would tell myself this is full, like I'm taking responsibility. This is full satisfaction, full joy. And so it was like just simple little things. Like we've talked about some of this, like, I come home at the end of the day. I put on my like house clothes. I plug in my phone. I'm happy. Like I'm I'm on a routine. Like this is
Right.
joy.
Yeah.
I'm just like training myself to see different things because it's like the things that really matter are usually the things that we make really small. And the
Yes.
things that don't matter are the things that we make huge.
Yeah.
What other people think of us, our performance here or there.
That's so good.
And it's like, but we need to enlarge the little things and like be like, that's the biggest thing in the world. My daughter's laughter when she sees my face, like when I come home from work, that's fullness of joy. Like I am successful because my daughter loves to see my face. My wife loves to see my face. That's success.
Right.
So
And
perspective shifts.
yeah, I think, I don't know, I follow this Dr. Stephen Haynes. He kind of pioneered in putting into practice acceptance and commitment-based therapy of establishing your values, and then after that, maximizing your routines that support your values and help you move towards your values. Because talk, at the end of the day, is cheap. And I can say a lot of things, but if there's no action behind that, then I'm almost going to be fighting against myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have these established values in my house. I have this foundation of how I think, what I do, my perspective, my mindset. But then if my habits are contrary to that, I'm going to be fighting against myself. And it's not good for anyone.
Dang straight.
That's not good for anyone.
Well,
So
for those listening, just so you know, we don't just talk about the news. No, one of the things actually we had talked about doing is even having like a helpful segment in each one of our podcasts where we like specifically will focus on emotional or mental growth. Skip this ad. What is this?
we're back to vaporwave, baby.
There we go. But yeah, there's a lot. I think a lot of both of us have gone through a lot of transformation. I don't know. I think that's why our friendship is so strong because we've transformed a lot and stayed in relationship. I think in my younger years, I did a lot of transforming that meant that I wasn't around the same people anymore.
Yeah.
Or it's like I would transform in such a way that the people around me didn't want to be around me anymore. They're like, oh, well, if you're not going to be unhealthy, like I liked you unhealthy. And if you're not going to be unhealthy, now I don't really enjoy your company. But like you and I have both transformed a lot. We've changed a lot and just like stuck it out, which is pretty dope.
Yeah. I think both of us have committed to growth and getting better and not settling for what we see in our lives and constantly being, I guess, pushing ourselves to take the next step and to explore new options and all of, yeah. And I think we've both established in our lives that there's a difference between saying you're there for someone and then intentionally putting ourselves in each other's path.
Yeah.
And saying you're there for someone is great, don't get me wrong, but I think the real friends in your life and the people that are going to pull you out of really dark places are going to intentionally put themselves in your path.
Dang.
And that's what's... Because, like, how many times did you hear when you were going through a rough patch, oh, I'm here for you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you were like, that doesn't mean... That doesn't have the intended
If as many
effect.
people who said I'm here for you were actually there, it would be overwhelming. It would be a crowd.
Yeah.
But it's like in reality, there's maybe one, maybe two.
Right.
And one of them is usually family. And the other one, is like somebody that there was just commitment made.
Right. And those people are game changers because they're able to speak with a little bit of distance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think, you need someone on the inside and then you need someone who's like just slightly on the outside. You need one person who's like, I've known you your whole life and you're being ridiculous. And then you need someone who like you invited into your life who says, hey, when you invited me into your life, this is what you said you wanted and you're violating that.
Yeah. Like you're better than what you're displaying right now. And this isn't helping you in the long run. And those are challenging conversations because you're like, crap. I need to get my stuff together. I need to quit doing this or thinking this way or having these habits in my life.
I think, and you need somebody like family. This isn't always true for everybody, but for the most part, unless you're like a crazy violent criminal and you're like stealing from your family, doing all this stuff. Other than that, like for the most part, if your family calls you out and you don't make a change, your family is still your family.
Right.
So they're kind of still there no matter what.